Welcome to a Judgment Eternal Champions Hero Deep Dive, and today I'm going to be diving right into Zaron Bogdan, the human Necromancer. In this video I'm going to talk about Zaron's abilities, his basic stats, as well as tips and tricks for using him, as well as fighting against him. Before we go any further, if you like this video and want to see more like it, please smash the like button and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more. I'll be working through all the heroes in the series. Right, let's diving right in. Here is Zaron's new sculpt. Zaron is a very menacing figure. He's huge in the lore of Judgment, in the background. He's had a storied background and history, and he's a great model to put on the table. Zaron is actually the avatar of Krognar, which is cool. So I'll talk about that a bit as well at some stage. Right, let's look at his card. He is a Soul Gazer. That's his class. So he has a 6 Soul Harvest like all Soul Gazers. Movement 3, Agi 4, Res 0, standard for a human. He has Mel of 5, because he's not a Mel guy, but a Mage of 7, which is quite high. And he's got 2 attacks. He's got a melee attack, which is a knife, which is 1 action point, with a reduced damage grid of 1, 2, 3 for solid, glance, solid, and crit. But that's not where his strength is, obviously. But he's an Aquatic Blast, which is a 1 action point, magic attack, which has a reach of 5, which is quite long for a non-aggressor, and a 2, 3, 4 damage grid of a glance, solid, crit. I mean, the knife's handy for getting Zaron out of combat situations to push himself out. You can do the odd charge with him to finish someone off if they're really low. Having a weak melee weapon is fine sometimes. It's better than having none at all. So yeah, but he's obviously an Necrotic Blast. He can be a good second aggressor with that power. With the Mage 7 base and a reach of 5, yeah, that's the kind of stat line you see on some aggressors. Seems sort of like a Stariel. Alright, so looking at his common abilities at level 1, he has an awesome ability called Explode 5. So when Zaron actually dies, the heroes around, any models around him, cop 5 true damage. It's quite a powerful thing to happen, and it's a great little stinger for Zaron if he's brought down in melee. He is Shadow. He has a Shadow innate ability, which means he interacts with Shadow Orbs. He's a Soul Master, which is what a Soul Harvest thing is. And Honor is because he is an avatar of Krognar, so he does give up a fate whenever he is killed after you've called your Krognar effigy power in a game. There's his avatar ability right there, Shadow of Krognar. So now this is fantastic. So if you call your effigy power and Zaron counts as a friendly Shadow Orb for the rest of the game, this is such a massive thing if you've got other Shadow Orb users in your warband. So people like Cradle, Rakir, Zaron himself at level 3 obviously uses them as well. But also Yorgoth, who gets extra powers when he's near a Shadow Orb. So Zaron counts as a Shadow Orb. It's really powerful, particularly the instant you call Krognar's effigy power, he becomes a Shadow Orb, so other models can be attracted to him. You can also move him first to a Shadow Orb or to the effigy and have people come to him as well. So it's a really good ability, Shadow of Krognar. Okay, then at level 1, active abilities. Vampiric Touch is a great little utility ability for Zaron. He can use on himself or on an ally. Often as a Soul Gazer, you might find you have spare action points. Throwing this on a friend is fantastic. Leech 2, with a lot of models, if they're already in combat or they're a ranged aggressor or a ranged character, they can heal back 6 health from just 1 action point. It's a really good ability. Don't forget to use it. Good Zaron players use it. Average Zaron players don't. Honestly, Vampiric Touch is a very good. It's like a secret source in his kit. Shadow Rift lets him play Shadow Orbs. Now, obviously, he cannot use these Shadow Orbs until level 3, but other allies can. It's a very good first turn play to get Zaron into a good position, because often he won't have much to do. Drop the Shadow Orb, and someone like a Rakir can use that Shadow Orb to charge out, to get someone off the shrine, or do whatever they want. So it's a very good ability. Use him. Make sure you use him, even though he can't use them himself, to put those Shadow Orbs down early. Now, because he's a Necromancer, he is one of the heroes that can summon other models, and he can summon a minor undead Necromancer familiar, which is at this stage of the game is skeletons. Now, Zaron's model comes with 3 skeletons on the sprue, so you can actually have them 3. He can have 3 in play at any time, and it costs an action and a fate, action point of fate to raise the skeletons. Now, if Zaron has got a soul bound to him, it becomes just an action. You drop the fate cost of that skeleton, which is a huge thing. So getting Zaron an early soul makes him really fate efficient and powerful hero. The skeletons are amazing. They're good. First of all, Zaron can actually soul harvest through the skeletons, which gives him enormous reach, right? The skeletons they get summoned adjacent to him and can move 6 hexes away. So he has an enormous ability to get souls while staying in safety. He's one of the very few soul gazers that can soul harvest from safety, behind your lines, behind a wall. And on the maps where you have multiple soul pits, he's a master, because he can stand on next to one soul pit and still soul harvest from another one with his skeletons. Skeletons are great for blocking charge lanes, for getting into combat, and assisting your friends in your allies in fighting, charging up or getting into the face of an enemy ranged aggressor so they can't shoot. So skeletons have so many abilities, and the top Judgment players and the top Zaron players are masters at using their Necromancer familiars. At level 2, he gains a health point, and his undead familiar, his Necromancer familiars also gain explode. They've got explode too. This is quite annoying because your skeletons could be out there at different times, and if the enemy tries to kill them in melee, they're going to cop some damage. So it's another little thing that's great for the skeletons. And finally at level 3, he gains Shadow Step, so he can actually be placed in Shadow Orbs and the effigy, just like a Rakir can or Cradle can at level 1. So at level 3, Zaron is a master. He'll have skeletons out there. He'll be moving around the map. If you're playing the Krognar God, and you've called the effigy power, he counts as a Shadow Orb himself. It's amazing. So, and don't forget, he doesn't count as towards the 3 cap, so he can be like a 4th Shadow Orb on the battlefield. Looking at Zaron's damage card, you can see here he starts with 14 health and he gets 16 level 3. And this is one of Zaron's weaknesses. He's Agi 4, which is decent enough, but he doesn't have a lot of health. So anyone who can focus Zaron down, getting him low, can really take him out of the game. But remember, even if you effigy recall back to your effigy with skeletons on the board, he can still get those souls. A good play is to often have him in base to base, adjacent to your effigy, and when you're picking up souls of your skeletons, he can bait them all the time. Zaron's a menace. He's one of the most powerful heroes in the game when used well, and I recommend that you give him a go. He comes in the starter box as Krognar's avatar, which is fantastic. As I said, he comes with 3 skeletons on his sprue, so you can get the most out of that as well. Let me know what you think of my thoughts of Zaron. In terms of magical artifacts, he's not an obvious one to give artifacts to. He doesn't need artifacts to be powerful on the tabletop. You might want to bind the Ring of Power sometimes. You want to make him Mage 8. But really for Zaron, he's a very fate efficient guy. Even things like healing, he can use his leech gift. What's it called? Vampiric touch ability to heal himself up as well. So he's very fate efficient in that regard. And I don't have any recommendations for magical artifacts. But let me know what you think. How do you play your Zaron? Do you use the skeletons much? And what artifacts do you buy him, if so? I'd love to hear your thoughts on playing with Zaron. Now, playing against him, it's important to get rid of the skeletons. You should try to get rid of them as much as you can. Particularly early, if you spend a fate and an action to get one, a crit from someone like a good ranged aggressor can drop the skeleton very early and make it fate inefficient for the Zaron player. The other thing with Zaron, you need to put pressure on him. You need to get him uncomfortable, get some damage on him early, and get him out of position. You can't let him dictate the battlefield as he sometimes can. Thanks for tuning in, and looking forward to bringing the next Hero Deep Dive. Cheers.